All right, I am having a very, very, very serious case of FOMO. I was messaging with a colleague this morning about just how different things are, the advice that we give postpartum women now compared to years ago. And I'm really kind of having a moment because my son is about to turn 13, which is completely insane because I don't feel like I should, have a teenager at this point. But it's amazing now, just like the repulsive feelings I have when somebody's like, don't just sit straight up out of bed if you're pregnant or if you're postpartum. And it's like funny, not funny, because, not even like 8, 9, 10 years ago, we were telling moms that exact thing. And now it's like, okay, well, we really don't have a reason why we're saying that. And then some of us actually know what the long-term results were of that. And that was just really far too long not being connected to our cores. Like, I still, to this day, granted I had 2 C-sections, but to this day, it is freaking hard for me to feel connected to my deeper core. And that's one of the biggest things that I have to work on in my heavier lifts, is to get that back up. And I honestly, blame is a bad word or wrong word or something like that, but like, I credit the advice that we used to give people. And again, we didn't know anything. We didn't know then what we know now. And I'm sure we're going to say the same thing in, 13 more years, but like, we were not having women do anything that first 6 weeks, especially if you had a C-section. Like, don't do a dang thing. And then barely having them do things between 6 and 12 weeks. Or we're like, all right, you get to the 6-week mark, good to go. Like, maybe you do core for a hot second and then just get back to running again. And so the support and the guidance that we had back then, I feel like there's going to be so much more fallout. And the women my vintage just don't know. And I feel like that's kind of, I feel super strongly about that this year, because these women are walking into perimenopause and menopause already behind the 8 ball, and they don't even know it. And they have no sense that those of you that are, you've been, a new mom in the past 3 to 5 years, completely different outcomes, completely different approach. Like, I just feel like we're setting moms up so much better now for the long haul. And so in some ways, I just have this massive FOMO. I understand it. But it's still like, it grates on me a little bit. I wish we'd known more. And I think I probably would have done things differently, but again, we didn't know. So for those of you that are like, oh, well, I'm doing better because I just, we didn't have it. We didn't know. So, and if you're not doing those things now and you're a new mom, please do it, because you do have more information than we ever did. But yeah, I really think that there's going to be this huge gap of moms, kind of my vintage. And those of you that get references about Stanley Cups and skincare at Sephora and things like that, like, if you're getting those references right now, you're my vintage. And girls that wear tiny shorts and big sweatshirts and Ugg slippers to school. Like, if you get those references, you're who I'm talking to right now. Or if you know those people, you need to connect us. So much better now, but we need to, when we see those narratives, occasionally they'll pop through, like, we shouldn't be doing sit-ups, or don't sit, get up straight out of bed when you're in pregnancy or postpartum. We need to shut them down, because that's a relic. And literally my response is like, are we doing this again? Because it didn't work the first time. Why are we perpetuating this crap? Because we know how it ends. I know how it ends. It's a lot of work later. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. Like, if you're a new mom, do you feel like, yeah, we're doing great advice? I know people that are a little bit older, siblings or things like that didn't get as good care. Like, what are they going through? I would love, dismantling old advice is exhausting. Yes, I know that, my dear. I know that. But I think you and I are fated to navigate that. But I am bound and determined that our generation will not suffer the same fate and things that we had to handle in pregnancies, postpartum, I'm bound and determined that we're not going to go through shit show again in perimenopause and menopause if I have anything to do with it. So anyway, if you know someone who is, those references make sense to them, please let's chat. If those things are kind of ringing a bell for you, let's chat. If you're a new mom, thank your lucky stars. You have a lot of options. But let me know where you are in kind of that mom journey. Are you fresh? Are you vintage? Are you experienced? I would love to know.